You look good. I
I
look good.
do?
Yeah, you look
Okay.
light and bright. Don't be,
Thanks.
I mean, it's the color you are, Tyler. It's okay. Don't hate on that. Well, here we are, another episode, Tyler.
Hello, everyone.
Hello,
Welcome
everyone.
back.
Welcome back to another episode of Two 90s Kids. I'm Nasia.
I am Tyler.
He is. I'm the
Yes,
mom.
I am.
He's the son.
I am the son.
And we do this weekly-ish podcast together.
As you can tell by that very thrown together intro. Yeah.
We
Actually,
just
no, that was thought about. That was preconceived.
yes,
That
yes,
was
it was.
my
No, we're
bad.
just master improvisers, so we just go with the flow. That's
Very
how we
much
do.
so.
Yeah, we are actually
On the real, we
on
are
the
pretty
real.
good. On the real, we are pretty good. You
Yeah.
know what? You know what story I tell about us a lot?
What?
Um, is us being like the best people working together on the improv stage back in our hometown during
Oh,
the one show that we ever got to perform together in improv. We were definitely like the best two
oh yeah.
chemistry wise, and definitely the funniest, obviously. I mean,
Obvi.
obvi. Um, no, but like that was a lot of fun. I miss doing that. I gotta pick up like improv again. I gotta pick
It
up
was
just
fun.
improv again in general.
Sidebar, just because we're talking about improv.
Yeah.
This week I did this very weird job. So
Okay.
basically a company, I'll just say the name, company, Cartier. So Cartier, which
Okay.
makes
Yeah.
beautiful jewelry, has a history
Yes.
of making very
Cut it.
expensive,
Cut it.
very beautiful jewelry, right?
Yeah.
They had a training session with their employees where
Mhm.
they had actors like myself come in and sit with their team and like basically be a mock client with like a whole bio about me. So I was a New York, no, not New York Times. I was a Time magazine, like going to be on the cover of Time magazine for my entrepreneurial skills. Like that was my
Okay.
character. I had an
Okay.
MBA.
Okay.
I was a chief marketing officer of like a big company. So like all
Yeah.
these things, right?
Yeah.
And we had to sit down and pretend to be this person while the staff would sell specific pieces to me.
Yeah.
So your mama was wearing like $1 million worth of ice. Okay. Like I
You
had
were actually
on,
wearing
I actually
jewelry?
got to wear it. Wore it. I actually never
Wow.
wore it. I actually got to put
Okay.
it on my body. So I
That's
had like
crazy.
this bracelet, this tennis bracelet was freaking just iced out. And I think it was $180,000. And then I
Jeez.
had on like this necklace and it had like a puma at the top because they're or panther, no panther,
A
Black Panther.
panther.
They
Okay.
had a panther at the top because that's their like the symbol for their company or
Yeah.
the animal that goes with their company. So it had this panther iced out with like onyx and emeralds. It was $250,000.
Yo.
I
You were rolling in it.
I was
That's
like,
crazy.
like it
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah. Talk to
insane.
me
But we had
nicely.
yes, but we had to like improv this whole thing because they were like asking me questions like, "Oh, how are your kids?" I'm like,
Oh,
you
so
know what I mean?
you basically got to make your character as you went.
Yes,
That's pretty cool. That's
exactly.
pretty
So I
cool.
walked in with this, little bio and I got to just like flesh it out and pretend
Yeah,
like I was this person coming in from a
that's
private
so
jet to get
funny.
her necklace for her Time magazine
Yeah,
cover shoot. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. It was a good way to end Black History Month. And that's what we're talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
this
yeah,
month, right? We're talking about
yeah,
this
yeah,
week, I
yeah.
should say. We didn't get to talk about Black History Month in the month of February, and we're like, we cannot let this
No,
month
as of
end.
right now, it's still February, so
That's
we're
right.
not doing anything wrong.
No,
Where we didn't
no,
miss anything.
no, we did
You
not
know?
miss anything.
Yeah.
But I think we have a lot we could talk about, but I feel like um as a mom, there are so many things that I want to protect my kids from that are just impossible. Like, for instance, my son, Nolan, who's 12 years old, he said to me the other day, we were talking about school, and I was like, do you hear? Because his school is very diverse. We live in Vegas, it's very, very diverse. And I said, do you hear a lot of like racial talk or like racial disparaging at school? He's like, oh yeah, all the time. And I'm like, okay, like,
Wait, he you
yeah,
hold up,
yeah,
pause.
yeah.
I didn't I This is actually the first time I'm hearing
I know.
that.
I know. I was like, okay, but what do you mean? Like, are people like using the N word? Like, what is? And he's like, yeah,
And what does that mean? Does he mean just like black kids using that little like black kids using the
I
N
don't
word
think
or
so.
like
I don't think so. I think he means like people using it as a disparaging word. People, I mean, he didn't go into specifics, but he basically said that it happens so often that there's no reason to even say anything about it, which is insane to me. Like,
what?
yeah, I know. And this is the thing. He's in sixth grade, he's in middle
Yeah.
school, and I feel like that time during kids' lives is the time where they test, right? You test your parents, you
Yeah.
test authority, you test your
Yeah.
peers. So people that are in middle school come out their mouth real sideways with stuff because nothing
Hmm.
really happens to them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So not only has, Nolan had to deal with that in middle school, Bryson, he had, some little white child throw the N-word at him on the playground when he was in
Yeah,
middle
yeah,
school.
that
You had the same thing. So it's like middle school is the time where people
hmm
really test things. But I was
hmm
shocked. I was for real shocked. I was like, like all the time, like all the time. And he's like, yeah, basically.
Right.
And
Are
it wasn't like
you
that with you.
you're no, it definitely wasn't like that with me, but definitely hear things, you know.
Yeah.
Um, are you always shocked by the quantity and never it actually happening, or are you always shocked by it actually happening? Like,
I'm shocked, I think, by the quantity. I'm not shocked that it happens.
right, right.
Um, I'm also shocked being in a more diverse school. I would think that would happen less.
Mm.
But I guess when like you all grew up in a predominantly white school,
Well, not you all, just me and Bryson.
well, true, yeah. So you and Bryson grew up and Nolan in the beginning of elementary school
Sure.
grew up
Yeah,
in
yeah,
a
yeah. I guess you're right.
predominantly like white school. And so maybe it was a little bit more, I don't know. I don't know what the reason is. I don't know if it was more hidden,
Yeah.
whereas here
Racism's
that
tricky.
yeah, like it
It's really
it was
tricky.
it was more insidious there, whereas here it's like people are just more out in the open with stuff. So and there's so many people of color that it's I don't know. I don't know the rationale. I really don't. I
Yeah, I don't
really,
know
really
either.
don't.
I really don't know either. I was talking to my friend the other day and like I kind of mentioned this to you, how like getting called the N-word as like a little black kid is like it's kind of like a ticking time bomb. It's kind of like just waiting for it to happen. Like
Right.
if you've never been called it or never been in a situation like that, you know, um, and it is crazy that it always happens around like this select few years of age. It's always like 9 to like 13, 14,
Yep.
where it's like you experience like your first like hardcore interaction with something. I mean,
Yeah. Your
you
first
know,
heart. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure it's different for different black people growing up all over the country, but
Yeah,
in
I was gonna ask you, sorry to cut you off,
no,
but
it's
like
okay.
when that the first time you got called the N-word when those people were driving by,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
old were you then?
I was probably like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were adults. I mean, or they were
Well,
teenagers.
yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
remember, but that was the first time.
yes.
Yeah, that was the first
Yeah.
time I was like actually like faced head on, like, here's the word, we calling you it. And my
Right.
mom and I were just walking on the side of the road. Like we were walking back to
Right,
our
right, right.
car from the, leaving the fairgrounds. And these boys drove by and they like yelled it out the window. And I just remember asking my mom at the time, I was like, why would they say that? Like, and I was crying. I was like, why would
Right.
somebody say that? And she had no real answer for me, probably other than, there are ignorant people out there and you just can't pay
Hmm.
attention to them. But I didn't know then, but now as a mom, having your child be like having a racial slur yelled at your child or said to your child, it's heartbreaking. Like it is
Yeah.
because like I can deal with it now as an adult, and I don't even hear it as an adult. Like I don't hear it's always that kids that say these things.
That's what I'm
Um,
saying. Yeah,
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 I
yeah.
don't ever hear that as an adult. I only heard it as a
No.
kid. But I remember when your brother came, we went to the city for a show, and he was having a hard time in school, and I was like, "What's going on?" And I could see he was like visibly
Nolan?
upset. No, Bryson.
Bryson?
I could see he was visibly upset, and Bryson is not one to show his emotions. Like he's a very internal person. So I was like, if you're upset on the outside, there's something really wrong.
Yeah.
And he told me that a kid on the playground called him the N-word at school. And I could just see like his spirit be broken in those few minutes. Like I could see that like people don't understand how painful that word is.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, as a mom, I want to fight the whole world when people mess with my kids. Like literally, I will burn this shit down.
Yeah.
I will burn this shit down to the ground because that's to me what it means. Like our people, and I said this to you when we talked about it the other day, like our people have died over that word, right? We've been
Yeah.
killed over that word. So if
We've
that
killed
word,
over that word,
right,
you
if
know?
that word, if you fix your mouth to say that word, you better expect something harsh to come back to you
Yeah,
because
exactly.
that's what it means. Like that's what it
Yeah.
is. That's the energy it carries. So you can't
Yeah.
just say it and expect nothing to happen. That energy is going to come back to haunt you. I promise you that. And if not, I will. For
Dead
real.
ass. Dead ass. No, it's obviously something that carries a lot of weight. And it's just like it's really it's really upsetting that a lot of black people get the brunt of that intense racism or like in your face racism when they're a kid because
Yeah.
that's when you're the most bold when that's
Hmm.
that's when or at least kids in general are the most bold,
Yeah.
when they're young teenagers whatever have especially with the internet nowadays way easier to let it fly. It's just and there's always like a subculture for that like niche like casual racism, us on the internet, for people to just like let it fly and then other people to just be like, yeah, like that's normal, like it's whatever, dude. Why are you getting upset? Blah 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 blah. And like a bunch of people agree with them. It's just like,
But there are people that definitely grow from that, right? And I feel like
yeah, for sure,
there are
absolutely,
people that were in your life, like that were friends with you, that you told me later on, like apologize for not recognizing how they were
yes,
taking part in it, right?
yeah, and you know what? It's tough because like when you grow up in like a predominantly white area, um, you know, it sucks being like, oh my God, like I have to like literally make like sacrifices to have friends, like
Yeah.
I have to like basically give up parts of myself uh in order to interact with people, which is like ridiculous. And
Hmm.
thank God a lot of people like or at least the people that really matter to me, like um as they've gotten older, you know, approached me and were like, hey, like I know things happened in the past, and it wasn't necessarily even them, but they were definitely a bystander at some
Right.
point to something,
Right.
happening. Um, but like also like it's hard to put all that pressure on a child, like a kid, and like
I
another
know.
individual kid. So like that's where the fight in lays. It's like, okay, like you want like these kids to not be freaking racist all the time and not have that be like a growing pain of being like a little white kid, but at the same time, you can't expect one white kid to like be a wizard and tell all of his white other little white friends to not be racist. You know
Hear
what I mean?
ye, white
You know what?
friends.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like you can't
Come round.
like oh, come here, you little mayo monsters, gather around. Like, I got something to tell you. Like, no, no. Like, you can't do that. It's just not a thing.
Oh,
Like,
no, it's not a thing. But
that's
the
why it's
ones
like,
who stand up, the ones who stand up are real ones, like for
yeah,
real. Because
yeah.
we've
I,
we've experienced a few times,
yes.
with your brother. Your brother had a friend Michael who is ride or
I
die to
just want
this
to
day,
say shout out to
Michael.
all the Michaels. Shout out to all the blonde boy Michaels that are in our lives because there's a few of them
There are a
who
few of them.
I have a friend who's blonde, and who's actually he's more of a ginger now, actually, which is very weird. But anyway, he was blonde at one
Yes.
point. Michael, then little
Real one.
Michael is Bryson's friend, and they're true allies. They're
They
true
are.
allies.
And
So
here's the thing. And especially in Bryson's Michael case,
yes, 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 yes,
you know,
yeah,
he stood up for him.
for
My
sure.
son Bryson played on a hockey team a few years ago, and the kids in the locker room were throwing around the N-word, and he didn't even tell us about it because we had already experienced, what had happened in middle school. So I think he was just
Yeah,
like, whatever, this is here we go again,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
shit response, that he has to have to it, but I understand it.
for
um
sure.
but Michael was the one that told his dad, that who told us, so that we could talk to Bryson about it. And like
Hmm.
Bryson wasn't going to say anything, and Michael was like, no, this
The
happened.
homie.
And I appreciate that so much because he didn't have to say anything. And I know he didn't probably say anything in that moment, but I don't care. Like I
Yeah,
know I care that he cared enough about Bryson to be like, this
yeah.
happened. It's not okay. It's not cool. So yeah, shout out to the real ones like
Michael
Michael.
Stalter is about that smoke. I like when he's like 18 plus, I'm calling on him whenever I need to get into a situation
He
because
is
I
about
know
it.
he's about it. Because I know if I'm still up here when he turns that age and I need something fixed, I'll be like, yo, you're coming with me because I know you can handle it.
He's a fixer. No, he's the sweetest kid. He's the
No, no,
sweetest
he's
kid.
not
I
nice.
love him. I love him. But yeah,
Very, very
it's
nice.
it's really hard. Like I don't know. I don't know. It's so insidious, and it gets to you in so many small little ways. I went to an all white school growing up.
Yeah,
I was the black girl, like the
yeah.
one and only. I
The
and
one and
I
only.
the one and only token. And I experienced it so often that it was just like again, okay, here we go again.
Hmm.
Like I remember being in the bathroom one day, washing my hands, and girls come up to me behind me and they're like, why are your gums so brown? And I'm like, I don't know, because I'm brown. Like, why is your hair
Jesus
so kinky and
Christ.
like this? I don't know, because I'm fucking black. And you can't say that, in fifth grade to somebody, but that's what I wanted to say. And
Right.
it's just like these little tiny, like dying of a thousand daggers, you know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
just chips away at you over and over and over again, where you have to defend yourself, or where you know that you're being treated a certain way because of how you look.
Hmm.
And the stories for all of us are endless, and that's the thing. Like that is one consensus with black people, and I don't care if you're a black person that grew up in an all white town. If you think that you were the same as all those people, you
Shame
need
on
some
you.
help. You need some help.
Shame
Like
on you. For
the
shame.
for shame, for real.
For
Because there
shame.
are those people, black people out there that are like, no, I'm really accepted by my peers and blah blah blah. And it's like,
Fuck my player.
I
What?
don't know. I don't know why she had to be Southern, but
Oh
she
my
is okay.
god.
And she
Me and
thinks
all my
that,
cohorts.
yeah,
We all get along just fine. Where'd that come from? That's
I
so
don't
good.
know. I'm
That's so
sorry.
funny. No, it's okay. It's
but
fine.
people that think that way, it's like, boo, no,
Yeah.
no. Like
How dare you?
they think they make you think that you're one of them, but you're not,
Yeah, but you're not.
because they
But
say
you're
stuff
not.
about you when you're not there. I know it. He knows it. We all know it. Um,
Yo.
so yeah, there's just no escaping it. Like really no escaping it.
No, not at
And
all.
it's one of the hardest things to also raise black young men.
Hmm.
Um, because the conversations, you can talk about the conversations we've had with you over the years about
Hmm.
your safety and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. What did that feel like to you?
I mean, yeah, I think for for the beginning of my life, I'd say like for the almost the first 10 years of my life, I don't think I had really any real conception of like what how I looked, like how that affected other people, how that affected other people, but like how
How
other
other people
people would
perceived you?
react, yeah,
Yeah,
and perceive me
yeah.
based on how I looked and everything. And then like I know you and I have talked about this story a million times at this point, but like I always just call it the hoodie story at this point because it's like I could have been Trayvon Martin in that moment.
Yeah.
Like I was
Yeah.
wearing a hoodie. I was wearing a hood. Like, you know, but I was like 9 years old in a Kmart with my other black and brown friends, and we were looking at video games, and there was a old white lady who was just like there kind of stalking us, and she kind of kept harassing us a little bit like here and there, just being like, what are you doing here, blah, 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 whatever.
Hmm.
you know um and then we got security called on us, and we basically got like chased out of a Kmart like before I hit puberty or whatever.
Right.
So
Right.
like
Because you were
and
such a
but
threat. Hmm.
yeah, and like going home, I was like, I don't really, I don't know why I got security call on me. And like I remember you being like, here, like, here's the deal, like,
Yeah.
this is the gig, you know because you look like this is what happens. And I was like,
Yep.
what? And from there on, it was just me kind of slowly waking up more and more to that, because I think, for especially being mixed, like
Right. I
I
was going to
kind of,
ask you, yeah, that when
yeah,
did that shift happen for you where, because I don't think, like you said, from the time you were little to, 10-ish years old, I
yeah.
don't think you thought of yourself as black or,
No,
yeah,
no, no, no. I definitely thought, if anything, I thought of myself like as like mixed, like
right,
straight up mixed. So like I could kind of, in my head, I could be anywhere and fit
right,
in. That's what a little kid
right.
me thought mixed, being
And
mixed meant.
anybody, you can put a picture, we're going to put
Yeah.
a picture up of little Tyler. He's so cute.
Which
Um,
picture should I put up? Which,
I
like,
don't know.
should
I think like something with a fro, something with like the edge up and like, I don't know,
like
like
shaved off the sides and fro on top, or
yeah,
fro all the way
yeah, like
around?
little, yeah, yeah, or any one of those.
Okay,
Little, little
I'll
elementary
throw up a
school.
few. They're gonna
Yeah.
be all over. I got so many.
And tell me, people, does this look like a white kid to you?
I mean,
The fact that
no,
you thought, you
no.
thought.
I listen. It's really tough because knowing how, okay, me being around. Oh man, this is such an in-depth conversation. Uh, Happy Black History Month. This is what it comes with. This is what it comes with.
Yes.
These conversations. I was, for some reason, more comfortable around white people growing up, despite being raised by you and Nanny, who are both black women, in case
Mhm.
you couldn't tell. Um, well, you couldn't tell about my grandmother, but she's her mother, so she,
Yes.
yeah, she's black.
I am black.
Um,
100% black.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
okay. 76% black.
No, 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 no. We don't gotta get into
Never mind, just
that.
kidding. I'm 100%.
Oh my god. No percentiles, please.
Sorry.
Um, yeah, so like I think I gained a negative perception of black people, and specifically black men, growing up. So I think I tried to separate myself from that as much as possible, and like knew that I had a white side, and knew that I had a white family who's very much my blood. So I was like,
Mhm.
oh, let me like
Right.
that. And this is me as a child, not understanding what
Right.
I'm doing really, just like, oh, I just feel more comfortable doing this.
And
And then,
ironically, I'm going to just interject for a
no,
second.
go ahead, please.
Ironically, it was your white family that gave you issues with black men, not my family.
No,
Like
no, 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 no.
it wasn't because of stereotypes that you saw in our family that made you be like, "Oh, I'm going to go chill
No,
with
because there
people."
were no black men in your family.
Except for my grandfather. Yeah, I had like my
Like, they
grandfather
were
and Uncle
all
Ed.
kids. They
Uncle
were all
Ed.
kids. Uncle Ed, yeah, but I barely saw him.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
barely saw him. Like,
yeah. There were
you
very
didn't have a
few.
dad. I remember your dad's funeral. I was like an infant, basically. I don't know how I remember it,
Yeah,
but I
you
do.
were, yeah,
Like
you were only
three,
2 or 3.
two or
Yeah,
three. I
yeah.
remember his casket for some weird reason. I
That's
just remember
crazy.
that. I don't remember anything else. I just remember
Okay,
seeing him. Maybe it's just
okay.
because his
It's
death,
first
my
dead
first
person.
experience with death. I'm like, ah! Like internally, just like.
Anyways.
Anyways, I was gonna run with that, but never mind. um, um, yeah, so I had this like very toxic relationship with uh at least my perception of being black. And then I'd say from like 10 to 20, basically, I'd say maybe a little bit, like 10 to 18. Yeah, basically when I got to college, I would like was me kind of defining of like what my blackness meant to me.
Right.
And now today that's constantly evolving and I love that. Like,
Hmm.
but like today I like very much consider myself a black man. Like,
Right.
know. Um but like yeah, like there was definitely a time of me just like figuring that out for myself
Yeah.
in a bunch of different ways.
Do
Yeah.
you remember when when you went to college and you were like, my people, like you just saw for the
No,
first
yeah.
time other
Yeah.
people, other
Mhm.
guys that look like you, that were
Yeah,
brown or mixed, or, and you were like, these are my people, these
for
brown men are
sure.
my people.
Yeah.
And I was so happy for you because you never had that before.
I never experienced that. I never experienced that. And then whenever I did deal with black people, and like no offense, like I was like that's still my brother, like for
Right.
real. Like the only other time I had like black people that were kind of close to me was in high school, and it was the Menoses, the
Mm-hmm.
twins,
Mm-hmm.
and they were
And
the
the
like
Terrys. We had the
oh, and the
Terrys too.
Terrys and the Terrys. I wasn't really like close to Raymond's Mexican, you know what I'm
Well, I
saying?
know
Like
Raymond's Mexican, but his parents are
like
black.
I know.
They were the other black family in our
Yeah, true,
town.
true, 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 true. No, they yeah, the other black. Oh my
So
god.
bad. It was
Shout out to the Terrys.
it's almost true
Um
though. It's almost
it is
true.
almost no, it is true. It's not
It is
almost
true.
true. It's
No, there was like a couple more sprinkled in there, but yeah.
oh, as far as other yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's like this one story that I always love telling is like I think I'm going out with my roommate at the time who's Dominican from the Bronx, and like literally people are always making jokes about us like being like twins and like
Yeah.
just being the exact same person or whatever. And
Yeah.
like we were always together at the time. And we were just meeting another group of people who were like our neighbors who like literally lived the next door over.
Okay.
And like they came out and then we all decided to like smoke a J or whatever, like before going out or whatever, right?
Hmm.
And and I'm like looking around at everybody. I'm like, everybody here looks exactly like me. Like this is crazy. I've like never in my life had I experienced it. Like my boy next to me, Dominican, and then the other three people were also African. I was like, what the? I was like, what the fuck? This is
I love that
crazy.
term, African American.
It's so good. It's so
So
good.
good.
And it also it's so funny how it automatically associates to just black and white because like
Right.
it could mean like any other black and whatever else.
Sure.
But like when you say African, you mean black and white because like there's Blasian and like
Right.
the
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, everybody else was like we were all looked the exact same. And I'm like, dude, we're like fucking Power Rangers. This is like crazy. This is so cool. Like I oh my god,
Oh
I
God.
this is why white people feel so powerful. This is why. Imagine we felt like that all the time, like
Yeah.
where we didn't constantly feel outnumbered, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I mean, obviously there are situations where like you are just around black people with your family, your friends, whatever.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. I it's
Y'all were
just
the y'all were the African American Power Rangers.
yeah, for
That is
real.
hilarious. No, I get that. You get there's power in numbers and you feel like those people have your back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like for you going to Notre Dame
Mhm.
in the city
Yeah.
when you were a kid, like I'm sure that switch from your high school upstate was like a
Yeah.
crazy like culture shock and like I mean you always say it's like an insane improvement. It was an
Yeah, for
insane
sure.
improvement.
I mean, so I grew up upstate New York. My mom moved us up there from the Bronx when I was 3. So I went to all white schools until I was in high school. And then in high school, I decided that I would rather commute down to Manhattan every day, 5 hours back and forth, than go be with the people that I'd been with who were slightly racist, if
Mm,
not all racist.
mm,
So I was like, I'm not doing that. And we had family, like my grandparents and my aunts all lived in Queens and Brooklyn. So I grew up, going to my grandparents' house and spending a lot of time there. And then when I went to high school, so I have this weird, and I kind of relate to the biracial experience from what I know from you and other people, in that when I went to school, I was the upstate Black girl, right? So
right,
like everybody else was from the city.
right,
Everybody else had growing up in Manhattan or Queens or
right.
Brooklyn or whatever
Like even
experience.
Janine, your friend, who was
Even Janine.
a little blonde white girl, was more like New York than you, or
Yes,
New
my
York or
best friend,
whatever.
who's still one of my best friends to this day.
Yeah, shout out Janine.
She was this 5'3", blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl from the Lower East Side, and she would
She's about it.
like she was about it any moment. Like I was afraid of her. And she was smaller than me, but she just had this like I don't give a fuck attitude. And I get that. That's what you have to grow upon yourself when you're growing up in the city as a young woman, especially because you have to be
Sure.
ready to like block
Yeah.
people as you're going down the street who are catcalling you because you're in a private school girl uniform. And
Yeah.
it's just a lot. It's a lot to deal with. So I get why she's like that. And a lot of people were. But like I went there and I felt out of place, not because I was Black, because for the first time ever, I had lots of Black friends. There were only 50
Mhm.
girls in my class, but I would say
That was it?
20%. Yeah, only 50 girls per class. Like, so there's 200 girls in the school.
Dang. I didn't know
Yeah,
it was that
but it was
small.
really small. Yeah. Um, and they were definitely groups. There were Asian girls, there
Mhm.
was the Asian girl group and Hispanic girl
Uh,
group and the Black girl group and the white girl group. And then there was like the United Colors of Benetton group, and that was my group. Like we had everybody, we had everybody
oh
going
my
on.
God.
We had Yugoslavian, we had, Irish, we had Black, we had Puerto Rican, we had Colombian, we had everybody. And I love that. I love that. But I felt out of place because I never felt Black enough, like the Black girls who grew up in Harlem or grew up in, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And obviously I wasn't white, so like I didn't fit in there. But I would get like, I it's the proper speaking girl that I was raised to be
Mhm.
that made me stand out. So I still felt out of place. Like I still felt like I didn't quite belong because I was like
Right.
a soft Black. That's how I
Yeah.
would say it. I was like Black girl light.
Yeah.
Like,
Black girl light. That's so funny.
you
You know, it's
know?
real. You know what? I can also relate to that, obviously, but like I feel like I can come to that common ground with a lot of other like mixed kids too. Just
Yeah.
like having that white side usually makes you more prone to like alternative things in general. You
Yes.
know, like at least to blackness. Just to blackness, not to whatever. But
Yeah.
like um so but then but yeah, I've always had that issue of like feeling like I'm not black enough.
Right.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
uh,
And you had a mom who grew up listening to like all sorts of music because I grew up
all sorts of
upstate.
music.
Like I listened
Yeah.
to Bon Jovi when I was in elementary school, and I listened to like all like pop rock growing up because I didn't
Yeah.
have, and then I had like family members who I listened to like R&B and other soul like from my mom. But I
Right.
have this very eclectic music taste because of, I feel like, being in both worlds, and it's not as accepting when Black people have like are outside of the hip hop R&B genre of music,
Yeah.
right? It's like a weird
Yeah.
thing.
It is
Actually, I
weird.
just saw a video. There's this girl I follow on TikTok who does really good like throwbacks to groups in the 2000s, any
Yeah.
music in the 2000s, and she talked about Fifi Dobson the other day, and I was
Oh
like,
my God,
yes,
Fifi Dobson.
yes.
Wow.
Fifi Dobson
That's
is
crazy.
not was she's still around.
It
She is
is.
she was everything to me. Like she came out, we were very close in age. She came out when I was like 20-ish. And I remember going to her show and I remember just like rocking the fuck out to her music because it was so good. And I was like, I know this is not like Black music, but that shit was hard. Like it was so
She was a
much
black
fun.
girl fucking
And
rocking out. Yeah.
yeah, she was a Black girl doing like pop punk music. Like she was like the
Yeah.
Black Avril Lavigne. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, 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 yeah.
And I love that shit. But like, I think a lot of people look at people like us and they're like, oh, you're supposed to be in this genre, right?
Yeah. It's so funny today. I was talking about like my first bag song, like the first song that like made me sad,
Okay.
like or like would make me like oh like angsty or whatever, like oh I hate the world, like that type of
My
thing.
life is hard.
Yeah. Oh, what did I say first? What did I say first? Oh, um, my friend played um Snow Patrol's chasing cars, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was the first one that I said. So good, so good. But
Mhm.
then before that, or not before that, but then after that, I was like, oh wait, you know what's really my bag song is Bring Me Back to Life by Evanescence. That was my first bag song.
Evanescence.
Oh
I
my
applaud
God.
you. I
Guys,
applaud you for
guys,
getting me through the early
guys, listen.
2000s.
Picture this, all
Picture
right?
this.
It's 2004, all right? I'm a little 5-year-old little boy sitting in front of our JTV in our little living room. My mom's sitting on the couch, and I believe we probably have MTV on or
Yes,
something
probably.
of the sorts, because how else
Hmm.
would we be watching it?
Yeah, there's no
And
streaming.
no, not at this. and Evanescence comes on with the grungy aesthetic, the pitch black hair. Her, oh my God. Wait, what's the lead singer's name?
Amy. Amy. I
Amy.
don't remember her last name. Her first name is Amy.
Well,
Amy Lee, I think her name
regard
is actually.
regardless, that girl can sing.
Dang.
She gets like that band gets so much flack now because like it's just like fun, like people are like love to make fun of them type
Right.
of
I think it's
deal.
cringy.
It's think it's cringy, but honestly, she can sing her booty off, first of all.
She sure can.
And the best, okay, because everybody thinks of Wake Me Up or whatever, and
Yes.
the Wake Me Up, that
Yeah.
part, and that part is cringy. It's like like I
Yeah,
think even
yeah.
as a kid, I was like, what is he doing? Like,
It's way up.
Wake me, like, come on, bro, come on. Oh man, I mean,
Yeah,
it still
no.
goes hard. It still goes hard.
You know who else is an honorary black person? And I know we're supposed to be talking about
An
black people. This is
honorary black
an
person.
honorary black music person. You
Okay,
know who I'm
go.
gonna say. You know who I'm gonna say.
Wait, hold on. Let me think.
I just sent you the video.
You just sent me. Oh, he's on TikTok.
Yes.
Oh, I don't think I saw it. I think I know. I think I might know who it is though.
Come on.
Is a singer? Is a singer?
It's Haley from
Haley.
Paramore.
Oh, Haley from Par. Oh yeah, duh, duh. Yeah,
The
yeah,
girl
yeah.
can gets me in my soul. Like
Yeah,
any kind of music, any kind of singer or performer that is singing from their fucking gut, like singing
yeah.
from like
Everybody
a
will love it. Everybody will love
everybody,
it.
like a deep, dark, down
Yeah.
place.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about some of our favorite black actors because there's a lot. There's so many right now. We talked about Jonathan Majors last week, who that boy can't do no wrong.
He's
Also,
scrumdiddlyumptious.
he is absolutely scrumdiddlyumptious.
He's
I saw a
crazy.
clip of him on the NAACP Awards with Issa Rae. It was super cute. She was asking about his sun sign and moon sign. I was dying. It was
That's
so
so
cute.
funny.
He's a Virgo, of
That's
course
so
he is.
funny.
Um, but yeah, he is killing it right now for me.
Yeah.
Also Regina King is like she's on my vision board of like people. Or
Yeah.
I'll tell you who's on my vision board. We have Regina King, who I've
Mm,
literally been watching since I was a kid on 227. If y'all know, you'll know.
mm,
227 was a show that Regina King was a little girl on, and I've
right.
been watching her since then. But her newer stuff, Watchmen, all of it, I just eat it up.
So
Um,
good.
Issa Rae, of course,
Yeah.
she's up there. Did her own thing, had the whole awkward black girl thing, which I watched on YouTube when it first came out. Amazing,
Hmm.
and has not only skyrocketed her own career and success, but like brought up all the people with her, which I love. Like all the people that used to work with her back in awkward black girl days, they're still with
Hmm.
her. Okay, so that's like she's a
That's
real one.
sick.
Um, Quinta Brunson, Abbott
Yeah, I
Elementary.
was just watching. I was just watching. That show is freaking hilarious. It's so funny. You know, um Quinta's character, Janine.
Yes,
She
Janine.
she reminds me of my friend Izzy back home.
Aw,
Like for sure, for sure. She's just like
yes,
so wholesome and like
yes,
just like oh my God, she's so funny. That show's
yes.
so good. Show's so good.
And I love that that
Um,
show has not one, not two, not three, not four black leads. Like if you count Janine
oh yeah,
and Tyler whatever's
yeah.
character
And the
and
principal,
Shirley Ralph and the principal, and I don't remember her
yeah.
name, that's terrible, and the janitor.
Yeah, and the janitor. That's five. It's five. And then the only other leads are a gay white man
Yes.
and a white woman. So
Who's bad about it? Who's like Italian or Irish? We don't actually know what she is. I feel like they do that
I
purposely.
mean,
Is she
yeah,
is she
she's so
Italian?
that's what I'm like that's what I always say. I'm like, if you're a northeastern Russian, Italian, Jew, like
Irish person.
Irish, like you're kind of the same. Like like they all kind of but she gives me Italian vibes.
Yeah, she's definitely has Italian, Philly
Reminds
Italian
me of Grandma
vibes.
Susan, but like
Yes, she
younger.
is. She is totally your Grandma Susan. Like just
Yeah.
yeah, I love it. But I love that that show is so popular right now because how many shows can you remember watching as a kid that had a full black cast on it?
Oh man, I mean, not a lot. I'm trying to think of where I got black representation from growing up, and I didn't. There were some shows here. The Disney Channel was probably the best with
Yeah,
it when I was younger. I had Proud Family. I
yeah,
had I had That's So Raven.
yes.
I had a few shows. Hold
Oh, we
on.
watched My Wife and Kids. That was another one.
Oh,
We
My
love
Wife
that
and Kids is
show.
yeah. Oh my God, classic, classic. My Wife and Kids is so good. Oh man. Um Yeah, I had some, but I think compared to now, like so
Yeah.
much better. And like I think also I didn't even have a lot of like black coded characters in like my like cartoons and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Whereas like
Okay.
now, even if the character like I mean like say all the characters are like some mythical creature or whatever.
Right. Oh, what's
That
that
character
show? Gumball. Amazing World of Gumball.
that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But like there's definitely other shows a lot like freaking Adventure Time that I used to watch and I still watch. Um by the way, going back to my friend Michael, that show is like 10 seasons long and he's watched that like threefold.
That's
So
insane.
that's disgusting.
Yeah, that's gross.
And he's a grown ass man. Anyway,
Yeah.
getting back to it. There's a the one of the two main characters is Jake the dog, and Jake the dog's definitely black. Like he's like that dude's at the cookout, like like
Right.
but yeah, Darwin from Amazing World of Gumball,
Yes.
like that's Nolan. He's
I
literally
know.
like I've always
So
said that.
cute.
Even when we were watching that show back in the day, because it's like 10
It's
years old
old.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and Nolan was like a little boy. Like, and we were all watching it together. I would like that's what I used to think. I'm like, that's definitely Nolan. Like, cause that fish gives me Nolan
That
vibes.
fish.
That orange fish gives me Nolan. That orange fish with legs gives me Nolan vibes. Out of context, everybody's like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah, yeah. It's a great show. Google
Yeah,
it.
so good.
Yeah, I think the best thing about television now is that we get black characters that are not in specific roles anymore, right? There would be like black
Yeah,
nurses on shows. There would be like,
yeah,
black maids or housekeepers. There would be like we had the Cosby Show, which was one, and then we had the spinoff, which was a different world, which was, other educated black people. But for me growing up, there wasn't a lot. Um, and I remember whenever a black character was on a show, I immediately identified with them. Like
right,
immediately. They could have been nothing like me, but I was like, they're
right.
black and they understand what it means to be black, so therefore we are together. Like we are the
Yeah,
same. Whether
yeah.
it was like Saved by the Bell or when oh God, what's her name? Bianca Lawson was the black Slayer on Buffy. I was like, oh. Like I was like, finally, someone that I could like I actually related to that not only was black, but like was badass and like
Was
wasn't
in a
a
genre that you were really into as
yes,
well.
in a sci-fi genre, wasn't a sidekick, wasn't the best friend. Even Dion from Clueless, like she was something else too. Like we were like, we have never seen a bougie black girl before. When have we
Mm.
seen that? When have we
Oh
seen,
yeah, that's true.
you know what I
That
mean?
is
Like
true.
when have we seen a girl that had, you know, wealth and
She wasn't.
privilege?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she was
it
a
was
thing for a
amazing.
little bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I just
That's
like
true.
that there's just so many iterations of us now. It's not just like one
Yes, I
dimensional.
agree. And
Um,
not to steal it away from the women, but we did kind of only talk about women. I want to shout
okay,
out
sure, sure, sure.
to my male actors. I want to
Okay.
shout out Lakeith Stanfield,
Honestly,
the dude.
scrumdiddlyumptious.
Also, going back to Jonathan Majors, if you guys haven't seen The Harder They Fall on Netflix, it's a Netflix original. Oh my God. It's a black western. It is amazing. It is so good, so good. It's got Idris Elba plus the two other actors that I had just mentioned. Shout out to
Yes,
Idris Elba, another
yes,
black male actor. But also wait, isn't Regina King in it?
yes. And Regina
And
King. Yep.
Regina King is in it. My bad. My bad. It keeps coming. Um,
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
great movie. It's a great
That
movie.
that
It's a
movie
great
is
story.
so good. It's so good. It's
It
so
is.
good. Um, oh my God. The guy who played Darwin in freaking X-Men back in the day was in that movie.
Oh
He was
yes,
he was part of their crew in the beginning. He was like
yes,
the kids kind of like buddy, like oh like
yes, yes, yes,
I'm gonna
yes.
poke your buttons the whole
He
time.
was
Like yeah.
also the Black Vampire in the Twilight series
Oh, okay.
with the
Didn't he
bad
get act?
dreads.
Okay, yeah, they were terrible.
Terrible.
Was he in the first and second movie, or is he just in the second movie?
I think he was in the second and the third. I think he was in like the big
No, he
fight scene.
dies. He dies in New Moon.
Oh,
He dies like in the beginning, not in the beginning of New Moon, but
okay,
remember
so
what
maybe the
the
first and the
werewolves
second.
get him in New Moon.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course he does. Of course he does.
He's like, let me just take your blood, and she's like, okay, and then they're like, no, and then he's like, ah, and then he dies. So,
He was like, ah, what is he,
ah,
Dracula? No, Count
ah,
Chocula.
Count Dracula. Oh my god.
Yes,
One luck.
yeah.
Ah.
He was black. The Count is black. I don't care what anybody says.
From Sesame Street.
From Sesame Street. I don't care.
Yeah, he was Jamaican. He was not
The Count was
Transylvanian.
black. I don't care. I don't
He
care what
cut his
anybody
dreads.
says.
He cut his dreads. He was a Rasta. Like
Oh gosh. Yes.
oh
Shout
man.
out to the one black person that gets killed off really early in movies.
Oh
Let's
yeah, and X-Men. That was so dumb. Like that's what I'm glad everybody talks about that. I've seen that several times on the internet where people are just like, "Yo, how are you gonna kill the dude who literally has the ability to adapt to anything?"
Except racism. Oh,
Yeah, he shot him with like the N-word or something. I don't even know. Like, and then he just crumbled to dust. Like he I don't even know. That was
oh,
terrible. It
that
was an
was
all-white
terrible.
team after that. He was the one person of color on that team.
Yep.
The only
Yep,
one.
yep, yep. Yep, yep, yep.
Anyway.
Um, yeah. So yeah, support your black movies, support your black television shows, because there's a lot to be learned, white people, okay? There's a lot to be
Yes.
learned just about how to season food or like how to
How to
how
how
to
to how
I
to
don't know, just have a little
moisturize hair.
swagger.
Yeah. How to not crease shoes. Y'all be creasing shoes like crazy, bro. That shit pisses me off. There's nothing worse than
Oh God.
seeing someone kneel in a new or just in a pair of J's in general and just like just like completely just like that's the toe just coming out and you're just like, oh,
It's
what are you
terrible.
doing? What are you
Terrible.
doing?
Terrible. All right. Anything else you want to discuss for this Black History Month edition of 290s Kids?
No, except the fact that I fucking love being black.
Yes, me
Fucking
too.
love being black,
Me
man.
too. And you know what? I
It's sick as fuck.
don't think I could say that 20 years ago. Like, I didn't quite understand the power that we possess. I didn't quite
Hmm.
understand the je ne sais quoi that we all have.
Yeah,
Um,
the
we
finesse, as
we
we
do,
say.
and it's where culture is derived from in this country. Let's keep it
Yeah, we run it. We run
100.
this shit. We run this shit.
We are the creators of so much that is standard American culture,
Yes.
and and that's why it gets upsetting when we don't get the recognition for it because we make
We don't
this.
get the recognition for it, or we tear each other down sometimes, because that does
That
happen.
too. That
You
too. That
know,
makes me sad. I don't like that.
we need to unify, and we need to get white people out of here a little bit. Just a little bit, just a tiny bit, just a tiny bit. Sorry,
We love
guys.
white people,
We
okay?
love white
Don't get us
people,
wrong. Like, we love white people. I
but
mean,
like, you
my
know,
kids are half white. Like, I had to have liked some white people in the past. No.
true, 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 true.
There's lots of you who I love and adore and see
No, you
me
guys are
for who
great.
I am. And then there are lots of you that are problematic. So just keep
Gotta
that
do better.
aware. And
Gotta do
keep
better.
aware that you need to call out your problematic white friends. That's my wish for this
Everybody
month
could
and every
be a
month.
Michael Stalter.
That's right.
Everybody needs to be a Michael
What would
Stalter.
Michael Stalter do? That's what
Just
you need
ask
to
yourself
ask
that.
yourself.
Just ask yourself that.
I know you guys don't know him, but just
He's
know
a great kid.
he is
He's a
valid.
great
He is
kid.
an ally.
He's about it.
Okay,
He
so
is.
what would
He
Michael
really
Stalter
is.
do? Sorry for shouting out your name. I know you're like a minor at this point, so
Yeah,
but we
yeah,
love
right
you.
now.
So if you also want to support Black people, like myself,
Like this person right here.
like me, this
That woman.
face,
That woman. Yeah.
I have created after many, many months my first tarot deck. I'm so excited. And
Let's go.
it's really funny because I feel like there's a portion of my world of people that know me for certain things, right? They know me as like a parent to one of y'all people,
Yeah.
to one of my 4 million children. They know me as a birth doula, which I was for a long time. They know me as an actor, which I have been for a while now.
Yeah.
But not a lot of people know about this side of me. So just to quickly tell you, like 20 years ago, my best friend, who has been my best friend since then, Diane, pulled out a deck of tarot cards and was like, "You're going through it right now. Let me do a reading for you." I was like, "What is this witchcraft and wizardry?" Actually, I loved it because I was totally that girl. Like
Right. You were into it. You were into
I
it right
was
off the bat.
I was like, tell me my
Tell
future
me
right
more.
now.
Tell me more.
Did you get very far? Okay, so she read for me and I was blown away by it. I was like, oh my gosh, this was so accurate. I don't know how you did that. That was amazing. Maybe a month or two later, I got my own deck and I started reading for myself, and I would just do
Mhm.
readings every day. And for a while I would do them and then maybe I'd put it away for a while. But for I would say the last, I don't know, 10 years, um I've been reading like every day for myself, and it's become such a source of like peace and calm for me. Like some people get up and pray or meditate, like I get up and do a reading for myself, and it just gives me like a little
It is your
insight into,
religion.
yeah, it gives me a little insight into my day. So if the cards aren't quite carding, I'll be like, oh, okay, this is something I have to look out for. Or if the cards are really good, I'm like, oh, this is something I can look forward to. um
Right.
and about 2 years ago when TikTok was blowing up because everybody was home, I started doing readings over TikTok, and it went well for a while. Like it was okay. Like it wasn't a big deal. I was just doing it for fun. And then back in December, I hadn't posted, or November, I hadn't posted for a really long time. And Nolan was like, "Mom, you know what? You should go back to TikTok doing readings." So I was like, "All right, I guess I will." And legit, it like blew up after that. Like I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh
you're
my
at
God,
what, 13,000
I just
followers?
hit 18,000 followers
18,000
yesterday."
followers? Holy shit. Let's go.
And I have a video right now that's kind of going viral. It's like at 400. Let me see. It's like at 400 views. Like this is the first one. I was
400,000
like,
views right now?
yeah, 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 yeah. From
Oh my
yesterday?
God.
Yeah, from yesterday. So it just goes to show you that like sometimes, yeah, 406,000 views. Okay. So it just goes to show you that, yeah, sometimes things are meant for you and you push them off. Cause I never thought about me doing this like professionally, like to
Yeah.
make money. It was just something I did. And if I could help people doing it, cool. And now I'm reading a lot. Like I do readings all the time, every day. And aside from my TikToks. So I was like, okay, this makes sense for me to make my own deck because I love collecting them. I have too many. And now fun. So you guys take a gander, take a look at her. Isn't she beautiful? Emperor Queen Tarot. There she
So
is.
beautiful. Love that.
All
I
right.
actually really like that blue.
Thank
It's
you.
actually a very you blue,
It is a me blue.
Nasia blue.
It is a Nicia blue. It's like very spacey.
If you were a singer, I feel like that would be your name.
Nicia
Nasia
blue.
Blue.
I like it. I like it. So if you want to get into the reading for this week, do we want to pull a card? Are we ready for that?
Let's do it.
All right, let's
Wait,
do
hold
it.
on. That's gonna be my thing before each tarot.
Okay.
You're never gonna know how long I'm gonna do the let's do it, okay? You're gonna ask
Okay.
me, I'm gonna say it, but I'm gonna go for as long as I want, and you're just gonna have to deal with it, okay?
Are you ready to do a tarot reading, Ty?
Well, I already did it. We don't have to do it
Oh,
again.
he sent it. Never mind. I misunderstood that. Sorry. Okay, so let's get into this reading.
Let's do it.
And I will say, personally hand design every single one of these cards, graphically designed, put it
So
together. So
creative.
creative. We creative out here. We have many talents, many talents. All right, so Spirit, please let us know what is the energy for the next week. What can we expect? One card, please. One card. Just give me one. Oh, that was two. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna do this from now on. You're gonna tell me when to stop, and I'm just gonna take that card.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna go like this, and you just tell me when. Okay, ready? Ready, set, go.
Go.
Oh, okay. So we have the Seven of Wands. What is he? And it's a black man. Of course it is on Black History Month.
Of course it is my
Yes.
king.
This deck is very, very diverse with all different kinds of looking people, all different kinds of partnerships, okay, because we are inclusive in this place, okay.
Hell yeah.
So the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is about you defending what you know to be true. Okay. You are putting up boundaries. You are staking your claim. You are saying, I know this is the right thing to do. I know this is my passion. I know this is my purpose. And I'm going to not let any of y'all fools get in the way of that, which is appropriate for Black History Month. Don't you think for us? I think so. So whether you're a Black person or not, don't let people determine your path, okay? Stick to your own path, keep up those boundaries, don't let people walk all over you. And yeah, keep
And
black.
do you.
Do you,
Be
boo?
do you boo and be black.
That's right.
Just
I
be
mean,
black.
I don't think everybody can do that, Tyler.
Okay, but if you're able to do that. Like
We're not condoning appropriating black people, Tyler.
no, 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 no. That's not what I'm saying.
It's
If
not
you
what I'm
have the
saying.
ability to, first of all, recognize if you have the ability to.
To turn into a black person.
I'm just saying, like, you gotta know if you're black or not. That's all it
Sure,
is.
sure. I
And
think
then
the
from
point is,
there,
yes, is to exude that kind of power that we as a people have had. Like
yeah,
no matter what people have said, no matter what they do, we are still who we are and we don't let
we're still
anybody change
here.
that. That's right. We're still here.
That's what I'm
Absolutely.
saying. Be
Yeah.
black.
Uh, that sounds wrong.
Sorry.
All right. Anyways, thanks so much, y'all, again for another episode hanging out with us. This was episode 6. So I mean, we're like
Episode
doing an actual
6.
thing here.
This thing is really rolling.
It's rolling along. Rolling.
Coming down the cliff.
Mm-mm, rolling down the river.
I
All right. I love you, Ty.
love you too. Another great conversation.
As always. All right. We will see you guys next time.
Peace.